Welcome to Odd Ifs, where we twist history with mind-bending what-ifs. Today's question hits hard for every headbanger out there. What if Dave Mustaine never got kicked out of Metallica? Let's rewind to 1983. The Bay Area thrash scene is exploding. Metallica is on the verge of something huge, but they're still raw, hungry, and unstable. James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich are writing riffs and building their sound. And right beside them, Dave Mustaine is shaping the edge that makes them dangerous. Mustaine wasn't just a guitarist. He was the band's original lead axeman, co-writing some of their most iconic early tracks like The Four Horsemen and Jump in the Fire. But here's the twist. He also had a temper, a drinking problem, and a tendency to clash with Hetfield and Ulrich. So one night, after a brutal fight following a show in New York, the decision is made. Mustaine is out. A limo drops him off on the side of the highway with his gear and no explanation. It's a moment that changed everything. But what if that never happened? What if, instead of being kicked out, Mustaine stayed in Metallica, not just for a few more weeks or months, but for years? How would that have changed the trajectory of thrash metal, heavy metal, and even modern rock itself? Let's dive into this alternate timeline. First, imagine this. No Megadeth. That means no Holy Wars, no Symphony of Destruction, no Peace Cells album. At least not the way we know it. Instead, Mustaine stays in Metallica and continues pushing the band toward faster tempos, sharper aggression, and darker lyrics. His presence keeps Metallica closer to its thrash roots longer, maybe even delays the more mainstream direction they take in the 90s. There's no Kirk Hammett joining the band, so Hammett goes back to playing local shows in LA. Maybe he joins another band. Maybe he becomes a session player. But he never becomes the face of Metallica. And without Hammett, does Metallica still make Master of Puppets the same way? Maybe not, because Mustaine had a different style, faster, more chaotic, less melodic than Hammett, but more aggressive, and arguably more experimental. Now picture this. By 1986, Metallica is still a four-piece, but with Mustaine still in the lineup. No Justice for All album cover. No Jason Newsted yet. No sudden shift in tone. But here's the bigger ripple effect. Without Mustaine forming Megadeth, the big four of thrash, Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, and Megadeth, never fully forms. Instead, Metallica remains the undisputed king of the Bay Area, while Megadeth never rises as the East Coast rival that pushed them to evolve. That means no rivalry between Mustaine and Metallica, no legendary stage meetups, no Grammy wins together. No Megadeth fueling the underground thrash explosion in the late 80s. And without that competition, Slayer and Anthrax dominate the thrash world earlier, possibly changing how heavy metal evolves in the 90s. Now let's go even deeper. Would Metallica have gone mainstream the same way? Hetfield and Mustaine were already clashing creatively, and those tensions helped shape the band's evolution. Without that push and pull, would the Black Album ever happen? Maybe not. Instead of going dark and introspective with Fade to Black, maybe Mustaine pushes Metallica toward even more technical complexity, like Watchtower-level prog thrash fusion, or even proto-death metal experimentation. In this version of reality, Metallica doesn't become the gateway drug to metal for millions of casual listeners. It stays heavier, more niche, and less radio-friendly. That changes everything. Would bands like Pantera or Slipknot evolve the same way? And then there's the personal cost. Without getting kicked out, Mustaine never builds Megadeth from the ashes of rejection. He never channels his anger into albums like Rust in Peace or Countdown to Extinction. He never gets sober, never refines his sound, and never becomes the godfather of American thrash. He just keeps playing, and maybe fades into obscurity as just another great guitarist in a crowded genre. Meanwhile, Metallica grows, but differently. With Mustaine still in the mix, they stay true to their thrash origins longer. No ballads, no radio singles, no Enter Sandman, just relentless speed, aggression, and chaos. That means the alt-metal boom of the 90s might never find a bridge between metal and mainstream audiences. Instead, Metallica becomes a cult band, revered by metalheads, but never breaking through to the masses. And without that crossover success, the entire music industry shifts. One man, one decision, and suddenly, the entire arc of metal, from the 80s to today, looks completely different. So what do you think? Was kicking Mustaine the best thing Metallica ever did? Or did it rob us of a wilder, heavier, more unpredictable future? Drop your thoughts below. And if you loved this strange detour into musical history, smash that like button, subscribe to Odd Ifs, and hit the bell so you never miss another bizarre what if.